right, let's get right into it. We're going to try and demystify one of the biggest buzzwords out there today, machine learning. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll see it's not some kind of magic. It's actually way more interesting than that. You know the feeling, right? You just finished a show and boom, Netflix suggests your next obsession. And it's creepily perfect. How does it do that? Or how about this one? You just glance at your phone and click, it opens. You didn't type anything, you didn't scan your finger, it just knew it was you. And my absolute favorite, when Spotify drops a Discover Weekly playlist, and every single song is a gem you've never heard before. It gets your vibe. So what is this invisible force that's kind of running our digital lives? Is it some kind of high-tech sorcery? Well, the short answer is no. It's machine learning, and we're about to pull back the curtain and see how the trick is done. So let's get down to it. What are we really talking about when we say machine learning? Well, it's a huge shift, a totally different way of thinking about how we tell computers to do stuff. We're moving from giving them instructions to, well, letting them develop something like intuition. And this cake analogy, it's perfect. See, traditional programming is like giving a computer a super detailed recipe. Add 1 cup of flour, 2 eggs, bake at 350. It follows the steps exactly. But machine learning, it flips the whole thing on its head. It's like saying, hey computer, here are 1,000,000 photos of amazing cakes. You figure out the recipe. It learns from the results, not the instructions. And that, right there, is the core idea. Machine learning is what happens when we stop spoon-feeding computers every single step. Instead, we just throw a massive amount of data at them and let them figure out the patterns. They learn from examples, kind of like how we do. Now, I know that might still sound a little bit like waving a magic wand, so let's break down how this learning thing actually works. It's not a mystery, it's a pretty straightforward 4-step process. Okay, step 1, data. This is your raw material. Could be images, text, clicks on a website, whatever. Step 2, you need a model. Think of this as an empty brain, a framework just waiting to learn. Step 3, training. This is the fun part. You feed all that data into the model and it starts learning. And finally, step 4, prediction. This is the test. You give the trained model some new data it's never seen before, and it makes its best guess. So let's make this super simple. You want to teach a computer to spot cats. You don't write code like, if pointy ears and whiskers, then it's a cat. Nope. You just show it thousands and thousands of pictures labeled cat and not cat. Over time, the model itself just figures it out. It learns the visual essence of catness all on its own. It's pretty wild. Okay, so we've got the basic process down, but it turns out learning isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. Depending on what you're trying to do, there are 3 main, let's call them flavors of learning. First up, there's supervised learning. This is basically learning with a cheat sheet, like using flashcards. You give the computer the question and the right answer. It's great for stuff like predicting a house price based on its size. Then you've got unsupervised learning. This is where it gets really interesting, because there are no right answers. You just give it a bunch of data and it finds hidden groups. That's exactly how Spotify figures out your music tribe. And finally, there's reinforcement learning. I love this one. It's like training a puppy with treats. The machine learns through trial and error. It gets a reward for a good move and a penalty for a bad one. This is how AI got so ridiculously good at games like chess and Go. So we've talked about the what and the how, but what about the where? I mean, is this all just happening in some lab somewhere? Not even close. The truth is, this tech is already woven into the fabric of our daily lives. Yeah, it's the obvious stuff, right? The engine behind your Netflix and YouTube recommendations, the amazing spam filter that keeps your inbox sane. But it goes so much deeper than that. We're talking about models that help doctors spot diseases in scans way earlier, that allow self-driving cars to tell the difference between a person and a lamppost, and that power those customer service bots that are actually starting to get helpful. So just how common is it? I mean, really think about your day. From the second you unlock your phone with your face, to the news feed you scroll through, to the route your map app suggests, you are probably interacting with machine learning dozens, and I mean dozens of times every single day. Most of the time, you don't even notice. Okay, so we've established that this stuff is powerful and it's everywhere, which brings us to the biggest and maybe the most important question of all. So what? Why does this all matter so much? The real game changer here, the reason this is such a big deal, is that it lets us solve problems that are just too messy and complex for humans to code rules for. I mean, how would you even begin to write a rule for identifying cancer or for what makes a hit song? You can't. It all comes back to this one idea. Instead of writing out every rule, we let the system learn from data. But, like any incredibly powerful tool, it's a double-edged sword. On one side, you have this amazing promise, accelerating medical research, making our apps smarter and our transportation safer. But on the other side, you've got some real perils, some really tough challenges we have to face around things like bias in the data, the spread of misinformation, and, of course, privacy. So, this is where we land. Machine learning isn't magic. It's a tool, a profoundly powerful one that is getting better at an incredible speed. It's already reshaping our world. So the real question isn't what can it do anymore? The real question, the one we all have to start asking, is how will we choose to use it?